1971 set the stage for some of the most iconic moments in rock history. A song that never hit the charts still became a radio classic. An anthem almost got lost with an unfinished album, or a rock legend that recorded his final vocals just days before his passing. What if I told you that all of these stories happened in one single year? Stick around as we uncover the 10 unforgettable tracks that made 1971 a year to remember. Number 10, Imagine by John Lennon. Few songs have ever felt as timeless or as quietly radical as this one. Released in 1971, it was quiet and simple on the surface, just piano, soft vocals, and a few lines of melody. But the message carried beneath that simplicity was powerful, a vision of a world without borders, greed, or division.
You may say I'm a dreamer.
What most people don't know is that the inspiration for the lyrics came largely from Yoko Ono's poetry, especially her line, "Imagine the clouds dripping." Lennon later admitted she should have been credited as a co-writer. Despite sparking controversy, Imagine became a universal anthem, a soft-spoken revolution that crossed cultures, continents, and decades.
And the world will live as one.
Number 9, Baba O'Riley by The Who. It starts with a hypnotic loop. Then out of nowhere, the band crashes in. And Roger Daltrey belts out a voice that sounds like it could shake the sky. Released in 1971 on Who's Next, many fans mistook the track's title for Teenage Wasteland, the unforgettable phrase that roars through the chorus. But the real name is a tribute, part to Indian spiritual leader Meher Baba, part to minimalist composer Terry Riley. The song was originally written for Lifehouse, a rock opera that never fully came to life. But even without the full story, Baba O'Riley became an anthem for restless youth and wild energy. And that violin solo at the end? It wasn't planned. It was spontaneous, raw, wild, and perfect. More than 50 years later, that loop still pulls you in, and the wasteland still feels just as real. Number 8, Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath. What happens when a heavy metal band writes one of the most powerful anti-war anthems of the decade? You get Children of the Grave, a track that sounds like it's made of fire and steel, but carries a message of fear, rebellion, and hope. Released on Master of Reality in 1971, this wasn't just another heavy riff. Black Sabbath had already shaken the world, but here they turned their rage towards something deeper, the growing fear of nuclear war, the loss of innocence, and a generation caught in chaos. What most fans don't know is that this song was inspired by the growing protest movement. Ozzy and the band wanted to create something that sounded like a warning siren. The relentless rhythm, the ghostly spoken words beneath the chorus, and the sense of urgency in every note. It wasn't accidental. It was designed to haunt. Children of the Grave didn't just shape metal, it gave it a voice. And that voice still roars today. Number 7, Riders on the Storm by The Doors.
Riders on the storm.
Released in 1971 on L.A. Woman, it would become the last song Jim Morrison ever recorded with The Doors. Weeks later, he was gone. And with that, Riders on the Storm transformed from the band layered in rainfall, whispered vocals, and a slow, hypnotic groove that felt more like a dream or a warning. Morrison's whispers under the chorus weren't planned at first. He added them late in the studio, saying it made the song feel... It wasn't just eerie, it was Morrison's final echo, a farewell hidden inside a storm. Number 6, Roundabout by Yes. What do you get when a band writes one of their biggest hits in the back of a van on the way to a gig? That's exactly how Roundabout began. scribbled down by John Anderson and Steve Howe while watching the endless curves of Scottish highways. Released in 1971 on the album Fragile, Roundabout became a defining moment for progressive rock. From the opening acoustic riff to the shifting time signatures and surreal lyrics, the song doesn't follow the rules, it builds its own world. At first, radio stations didn't know what to do with it. It was too long, too weird, too complex. But the fans knew better. With Steve Howe's iconic guitar intro and Chris Squire's thundering bass line, Roundabout quickly became a cult favorite, and eventually a classic rock staple. Number 5, Life on Mars by David Bowie.
Britannia is out of bounds. To my mother, my dog.
Released in 1971 on Hunky Dory, it told the story of a young girl lost in a world that doesn't live up to the dream. She walks into a movie theater hoping to escape, but what she finds is a reflection of everything wrong with the world. The lyrics jump between images, from Mickey Mouse to war to forgotten love, creating a song that feels like a puzzle you can't stop staring at.
That Mickey Mouse has grown up a cow. Now the workers have struck.
The music follows that same dreamlike path. It starts with a simple piano, then slowly builds into a full orchestral wave, rising higher and higher, like it's reaching for something just out of sight. Bowie originally wrote it as a parody of My Way, but what he created was something far more powerful. A strange, moving anthem about reality, illusion, and everything in between. Number 4, Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones. It was raw, fast, and completely unfiltered, and that's exactly how the Stones wanted it. Released in 1971 as the lead single from Sticky Fingers, the song opens with one of the most recognizable riffs in rock history. Keith Richards came up with it almost by accident, a jagged blues lick that sounded like it had been dug straight from the dirt. But the song's backstory is even more intense. Jagger wrote the lyrics in a burst of chaotic energy, blending themes of race, sex, and violence into something that still sparks debate to this day. Number 3, Echoes by Pink Floyd. Released in 1971 on Metal, Echoes wasn't a song. It was a sonic voyage. At over 23 minutes long, it filled an entire side of the album and marked a turning point in the band's evolution. The song started as fragments, unfinished melodies, ambient textures, wordless vocal harmonies, but when the pieces came together, they formed something otherworldly. A deep dive into space, the ocean, and the subconscious all at once. David Gilmour's slide guitar feels like it's floating through time, while Richard Wright's keyboards shimmer like light on water. There's no chorus, no hook, just waves of sound that rise and fall like a tide. Number 2, Aqualung by Jethro Tull. Did you know Aqualung was never meant to be the anthem it became? And Jethro Tull frontman Ian Anderson still resists calling it a concept song. But fans and critics alike couldn't help connecting the dots. Released in 1971, Aqualung blurred the lines between hard rock, progressive structure, and sharp social commentary. The title track tells the story of a homeless man, dirty, broken, watching the world go by with no place in it. But beneath the surface, it was a bold critique of organized religion, poverty, and how society looks away. Jethro Tull never cared about fitting in. Their sound was too complex, too strange, too thoughtful. But with Aqualung, they accidentally created one of the most unforgettable rock statements of the decade. A song that still makes people stop and listen. Number 1, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin.
In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird who sings.
Did you know Stairway to Heaven was never released as a single, yet it became one of the most played songs in radio history? That's the power of a song that didn't follow trends. It created one. Released in 1971 on Led Zeppelin 4, it builds from a soft acoustic intro into one of the most explosive climaxes in rock. Jimmy Page didn't improvise the solo. He carefully crafted every note, every bend with surgical precision. The lyrics, cryptic and mystical, sparked decades of debate and interpretation. And though it was never meant for radio, fans kept calling in, again and again. Stairway to Heaven became more than a track. It became a legend, a moment frozen in time, one that still gives chills even half a century later. These 10 songs didn't just define 1971, they became part of rock's DNA. But if you think that year was wild, wait until you hear what came in 1984. Tap into the next chapter of rock history. Check out 1984 rock songs we'll never forget, and see which year truly ruled.